So we're getting closer and closer. Every day of the week you hear from OT and things that Russia is bad, Russia this, Russia that, Russia the other. Obviously China's good. Irish government, the narrative of OT, oh China's the best, the great bunch of lads. That's what China is. That's what the Irish government will tell you. But you'd be totally honest. Be totally honest. At least with the Chinese government, at least they know you know you're not allowed to have your freedom of expression or your freedom of thought, whatever. You're not allowed that. In Ireland nowadays, they're kind of just saying, oh, it's for the good of the people that we have a misinformation board and things like that. But this is the best question. Nobody, only Grip Media I heard ever asked this question. OT's like hopping up and down and saying, yes, we can finally shut people up, independent people. We can shut them up. The only people to be able to tell the news now is OT. You know, it's the public broadcasting, basically the state-run media that can. Basically, they're the only people that have a say now. This only people can be shut down. They can remove things if they wanted to. All in the name of democracy, protecting freedom, protecting democracy. So you know, I heard that before one time in a different universe a few decades ago. It's all about protecting democracy, protecting freedom and stuff like that. We have to crack down on freedom to protect democracy and stuff like that. So, you know, it's the start of going into China, going into Russia. But again, every day of the week, it's kind of ironic. You hear them going on about Russia. Russia's terrible, and you know the Irish government at the moment, a misinformation board. Now they claim it's to help people, young people, children, and things that experience misinformation or harmful stuff on the internet. But let's call a spade here. What they're really trying to do, and we all know the government don't like people having an opinion that differs to the government now, to particularly again with people turning up from Timbuktu now at the moment into every town and every village in the country, and them just getting free house and getting everything handed to them. The government don't like people challenging that. They don't like people having an opinion, saying, you know, I actually disagree with that. You know, they just expect you to go along and say nothing. Because, you know, the government says that you don't have an opinion, but, you know, they don't, and they want to try and shut people down, and that's the main goal really of this information thing. They have extraordinary amount of power compared to if it was just to protect children or whatever. You know, we obviously that's all well and good, but let's be fair, it's the Irish government we're talking about. You cannot trust the Irish government. It's simple as that. They've shown time and time again they would literally send you down the river if they got the chance. Leo and Micheál would literally send you down the river if they got the chance. They would not think twice about it. They don't give a shit. And even Micheál Martin, the one thing that explains it perfectly, we don't want a backwards idea of sovereignty. That should really tell you everything that you need to know. That they don't care about the people, they don't care about the country, they don't care about its traditions, its values or anything. It's just all nothing to them. It means nothing. It literally doesn't even come to their mind. It doesn't. They don't even think about it. And you know it's a sad day in the country because obviously it's extraordinary amount of powers to remove things online, to shut people down if they wanted to. But again, this is the question I asked at the beginning too. Who can say what's misinformation? Is the people that say this is false. So it's always saying, you know, take for example, I don't know, Cavan doesn't exist or something like that. Like take for example that, you know, that's obviously factually wrong because there is a place in Cavan. I'm here at the moment in Cavan. So obviously that's obviously factually wrong. So you could be like, actually, you know, it does exist. But things like just having an opinion that differs to the government, that shouldn't be shut up. But obviously there's limits. There is limits you should have. Obviously you can't say I'm going to burn a town out of it or whatever. You can't go around saying I'm going to kill this person or whatever. Obviously there's limits. It's obviously going into in threats of violence and stuff, and obviously that's against the law. But just having an opinion saying that, you know, some people from another country shouldn't be coming to my town, to that our local town or whatever, and being given housing and stuff, and then waiting 15 years on the council house and stuff like people that have been here centuries. You know, it's just an opinion. At the end of the day, it isn't just an opinion. You might have a different opinion than your neighbour, but again, that's democracy. That's the will of the. It's everybody's the only unique person. But it's not about, and again, it's not about that. It's just about control. It's simple as that. It's just about controlling what people hear, what people take. Because obviously, at the moment, people are very distrustful of the government. Let's be fair. Nobody trusts the local TD or the councillor. in the best they have the best interest of the public and the country first of all, and the public and the local community first. Nobody can trust them. We've seen over time and time again, the politicians would literally send us down the river, if they got away with it. They don't care, and it's sad to see that. But again, this is what it's all about: just getting whatever they want the public to hear. The only Joes, the boomers, as we would call them, the people that are not on social media and things, rely on RT to tell them the news. Like, God help them and God bless them, because imagine literally the only source of information you can get or news and things like that is from RTE. Imagine that, like every day, like during COVID and stuff like that. RTE just, I know a lot of people went along, even myself, I was through it for a long time with COVID and stuff like that. But imagine every day of the week, RTE coming on and saying, oh, if you don't do this or do that, we'll go to the Gardaí will come along and knock you down and kill you. And if you don't buy a €9 meal that's covered randomly appear, and you'd be gone, you'd be dead. Every day for the last nearly God knows how many years they're at it, RTE, and they're still at it to this day. But there's always you get what I'm saying. Like, God help whoever had to listen to that and still has to listen to RTE nowadays. We've seen this even in Fair City and stuff like that, trying to demonise people with opinion. Like, trying to take sharp snipes at some people that have different opinions, but the dare will not question the other side, because obviously you can't question the other side, or you can't have an in the middle opinion on. You have to have you have to be extremely dangerous on RTE to be projected on Fair City, particularly, for example, taking them as extremely dangerous people that shouldn't have an opinion. It all plays into the narrative of just controlling speech, controlling what people think, what people say, and things like that. And it's all about information. And we've seen this time and time again in the Soviet Union. We see this in China. We see it in North Korea to this day. And we even see it in Egypt and different countries around the world. The government censors. The government tells the press what to publish, and the government says what is truth and what is fact. And that's when you go into, literally, you have no democracy, no freedoms. You're basically just a slave to the government. To be totally honest, the capitalism is kind of like that. But obviously it is the best system compared to communism. We've seen the dangers of communism. We've seen the horrors of communism that is committed. Even an Austrian Plato and stuff like that. We've seen the horrors that has both sides. And we have to be fair that is literally, we're going into that realm if we let it go too far. Because at the moment it's extraordinary what they're talking about doing. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, people would have been up in arms about it. As I say, nowadays it's just kind of snuck in the back door, and you basically, nobody can have an opinion. And if you dare disagree with West Germans, the public order back and we throw you in prison. That's literally what they do nowadays in this country. But we've seen in America too, straight away it says announced the Ministry of Truth. Now, how far can you go with naming something like the Irish government named the Disinformation Board or whatever, something like that, Misinformation Board or whatever. But in the United States, we're just going to call it the Ministry of Truth, literally. And that's literally what it is in Ireland. It's the Ministry of Truth 2.0. Probably going to be even worse than the United States, because let's be fair, people in the United States particularly, the First Amendment is literally everything to them. Freedom over there means more to people than probably in this country. And particularly because, again, the reason why people have the right to bear arms and stuff in the United States too is to protect people from breaking in and stuff, protecting property and yourself and stuff like that. But at the end of the day too, it's to protect the government from taking your rights away too. So that's literally what it is. So obviously it wouldn't go very well if the Department of Homeland Security, take for example, which was what was going beyond them. So literally be sending armed people to your house to say you misgendered somebody online. We're going to come with 16 people with armed tanks and stuff like that to your house, and we're going to batter down your door with AK-47s or assault rifles. We're going to have grenades too if you don't comply. Because you're an extra threat to democracy and freedom and expression and all that. But Putin bad, obviously. Putin bad, as they always say. But whatever about Russia and China, at least they would openly say, we don't agree with citizens having an opinion, right? Ireland here, they're just kind of like, we snuck it in the back door and people have to find out themselves when they'll be dragged away in the cop car. That's literally what's happening at the moment. But it's a sad day. It is a sad day for democracy. I don't want to understate, and I know I'm joking a bit here and things like that, what I'm saying, in some regards, trying to make light of it. Because the best thing to do is not to worry about it, trying to make light of it. And obviously fight it every way you can. But the best way to do it is to just kind of laugh at the same time at it. Because again, at the end of the day, you have to try and find a bit of humour and stuff. Because if you were always very serious and very down, it would literally kill you. It would eat you for the inside out. And that's just to say. But it's a terrible thing now to think about this. And especially, again, I suppose time will tell how serious it's going to be. Are they true? But again, as I say, we can't trust them. Simple as that. That's openly just saying it straight. You cannot trust the government. When they say they have your best interest at heart, generally you have to say duty now. That's what you have to say back to them when they do say it. But yeah, let me just take and subscribe more, and we have to see in the next while what happens. So thank you and bye.